Alright, what's up friends, it's Harrison here, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the holidays and how to get through them as a transgender person. So, the holidays. Yay. But yeah, so it's an interesting time because you have all these traditions, you have these family dinners and family get-togethers that you were excited about when you were a kid. They were so much fun. And then as you get older and you start to get more woke, you start to realize that maybe your relatives aren't as cool as you thought they were, and maybe your relatives are actually not very open-minded. So I want to talk about kind of that experience and feeling like a burden during the holiday times, because at times I felt like a burden because I was transgender and all I wanted was for people to call me the right name and use the right pronouns. But I didn't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable at these holiday outings because it wasn't about me, it's about the holidays, and I didn't want to make it about me. So I'm going to talk about my experience from coming out up until this Christmas, because every Christmas, every holiday season has gotten a little bit better, but it's still not perfect. I had an invite today to a family dinner on Christmas, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go because I still have that in the back of my mind that I don't want to be misgendered, and I don't want... It's not necessarily like an I don't want to be misgendered, because yes, sometimes it happens. Whatever, like sometimes I misgender myself, well, not as much anymore, but sometimes in my own mind, when I first started transitioning, I used to refer to myself as the wrong name and the wrong pronoun in my mind. Like if I was even doing it, how could I expect other people to be perfect? And I know that it comes with time and practice, and I'm very, very patient with people. As long as it's not malicious and it's not targeted, I'm very patient if somebody slips up, because we're all human. It's okay. But the thing that gets me is when somebody feels really uncomfortable that they messed up and it's always on their mind. Like if they accidentally called me the wrong name, they'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like I don't want to make people feel like that. And I feel like putting myself in that situation, putting other people in that situation, creates an environment where people have the potential to feel uncomfortable, and I don't want to be the source of that. And that's not the right mentality, because they're your family, you're not a burden, unless they're complete bigots, which I know that happens sometimes, and I'm going to cover that. So basically, I just kind of wanted to have a conversation to let you know what I went through during the holidays. This isn't really like how to survive, because every situation is different. And I can only say about my family, and you can take what you want out of it. I've had Christmases where I haven't gone home because I've been in a fight with my family, and I spent Christmas alone. Now that's not the case, but it took a long time to get to where I'm at right now. When I came out at 20, I told my parents, and then I came out on a large stage when I was 22. So I didn't have to come out to extended family members. I didn't have to go through that. And I know that that could be a very interesting time to have a coming out at Christmas time or at a family gathering. But if you only see these people for special occasions, when are you ever going to tell them? Unless you have like a big Facebook post or a big Instagram post saying, hey, I'm transgender, and you just expect your family members to know that. I don't know, I've never gone through that because I came out on such a public stage. I came out through an ESPN article, and then a bunch of reporters took that from all over America, all over Canada, some around the world, and I was in documentaries, I was on TV, I was in newspaper articles, and that's how my extended family members found out, because it was out there and in their face. There was really no getting around it. Like my own grandmother found out that I was transgender through an article in my local newspaper called the Oakville Beaver. I guess it's lucky that I missed out on all those conversations and I didn't have to go through that. My family already knew, but what they didn't know was that I was going through a really tough time, because my family has a religious background and my parents did not have an easy time with me coming out as transgender. And it's taken a long time to get to the point to where we're at. Like it's always gotten like a little bit better, but now there's no more fighting, there's no more struggling, and that it was only after I had top surgery was where things started to just be normal, and we've started to always call me the right name, always refer to me in the right pronouns, and there's no more questioning me, and there's no more asking me, do I really need to do this? Like, why can't I be a certain way? there's no more of that conversation because I've basically done everything that they didn't want me to do, and there's really no turning back. That's the point of no return, and I get to finally live my life in peace and just be the son that I've always been to them. That took a long time to get to that point. I never thought I would get to that point. From when I came out as gay at like 16 to coming out to as a trans man at 20 to now being 25, I never thought I would get to a point where my mom would call me Harrison or refer to me as he. I never thought I would get there, and I went through a lot of fighting, a lot of struggling to get to this point, and now we're finally here, and it feels amazing. But there was one Christmas where I wasn't being called the right name, and I didn't want to go home, and I was living in Buffalo at the time, so I just stayed in Buffalo. I didn't come home for Christmas. I didn't open presents on Christmas Day. I didn't go over on Christmas Eve and watch movies or have dinner, like all the traditions that I used to do when I was a kid. I didn't do that because I was so frustrated with the way that I was being treated. And I think it's important to talk about that because you have to look out for yourself. Like, I know family's so important. I know holidays are so important. But if you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be hurt, where you're going to be sad, where you're going to be depressed, and you're not going to be treated the way that you want to be treated, you have to look out for your own mental health and not put yourself in those situations. Yes, I'm lucky enough that I had an apartment to myself. I didn't live at home, and I had a place where I could be by myself, where I could escape. I know that that's not the case for a lot of people. That was like 2 Christmases ago, and now I'm in this totally new stage. So if you're at a point where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you never think you're going to be around your family, give it time, be patient. It might never happen, but it just might happen. It doesn't make you a bad person to not go to family events. And I think that that's the whole point of my video, is to like say, you need to do what you need to do to be happy. You need to do what you need to do for the sake of your own mental health. But yeah, so that's basically what I've done, is I've looked out for my own mental health first. I've taken myself out of uncomfortable situations. I've stood my ground and said, this is not okay. I'm not going to come if I'm being treated like this. And I've also listened. And I've also had conversations and voiced my discomfort. I've voiced how I was feeling. I've voiced what I wanted. And I've worked towards that end goal, that end scenario, and have always talked about it with my immediate family members or anybody that I was trying to get to a point with. Because family is important to me. Holidays are important to me, and I would like to be surrounded by a loving family and carry on the traditions that I've had since I was a kid. And I've always had an open mind, an open heart to let people back in, but I've also had the strength to say no and to distance myself from something that, yes, I want to happen. And yeah, it'd be easy to just roll over and say, okay, fine, like one day, one Christmas, you can call me the wrong name, you can use the wrong pronouns, and I'm just gonna sit back and take it. No. I had done that for a little bit, but then as I got older, as I gained more strength and gained more courage, I knew to say no. So you can say no, but always have an open heart. But yeah, so that's basically all I have to say about holiday times. Just know that I'm thinking about you, I'm with you, your community stands behind you if you're going through a tough time. Know that it's just a day. Know that it's just a holiday. You can get through this. You can get through it with friends, you can get through it with family, you can get through it yourself. You will be able to do this. You are strong enough, and please don't give up. So I hope that this video helped, and I wish you all a very, very happy holiday. Take care.